Alright, so today's vlog is going to be a little bit of a therapy session for me, I'm not going to lie. So this all happened about 6-7 months ago now, and I've had time to process it a little bit, but we all know that this channel is kind of a therapy for me to like process things as they happen. So I want to process this with you all and tell you the story of why UD kicked me out because of my health. So let's get into it. So to give a little bit of backstory, I was attending the University of Delaware to study entrepreneurship, and I had taken a gap year before I went because I had so many health issues. And then when I did end up going to University of Delaware, I had almost every accommodation that you could imagine. I think I had everyone except Braille, just because of all the health issues that I have. And so I tried taking classes part-time at UD, and I did take classes part-time at UD for years. When they ended up kicking me out, I was, I think, junior status. Most of my semesters, I was taking 1 or 2, maybe 3 classes and just trying to get through them because of all my health issues. So my chronic fatigue made it really difficult to get around campus, to have the energy to go to class and then to do all the assignments. And then with my brain fog, you know, doing assignments and doing the ratings and stuff was really difficult. But I persevered, I did my best, and I have a 4.0, or I had a 4.0 when I left, 4.0 out of 4.0. So I really pushed myself so much. But that was another thing, is that I was pushing myself kind of beyond my limits and my capabilities. Like when I would come home for winter break at UD is about a month and a half, almost 2 months. And then when I would come home for summer break, I would crash. I would totally crash out and just basically have to rest that entire time. I never was able to do like a spring break trip. When I came back home for spring break, I would be resting. Only once over winter break did I actually studied abroad, which was so fun. I went to Germany. This was right before the pandemic hit. And so I was able to do that, but my body was so broken after that trip. I had a knee injury from all of the walking that we ended up having to do. And basically the ball of my foot, like I had calluses in the ball of my foot, that basically fell off. So my body was just really broken by the time I came home. So it did not handle doing the study abroad experience very well. Even though it was just 1 class, it was a lot for my body. And also while I was at UD, I did a lot of extracurriculars. So I participated in Horn Entrepreneurship. I love Horn Entrepreneurship. They're actually the saviors of this story. But I did almost every extracurricular at Horn. I did their pitch competitions. I was a part of Entrepreneurship Club. I was at different times a Horn ambassador, and I was a Free Lunch Friday coordinator, and like Venture On. Like I did pretty much every program that they offered. I really tried to get involved and participate. And then outside of Horn Entrepreneurship, I tried to do everything I could to be involved in the community. So I was a part of the Blue Hen Leadership Program, and I ended up graduating that program because there's 4 tiers. So you do that for 4 years, and I was at UD way longer than 4 years because of my very slow pace of trying to take classes part-time. And so yeah, I went through that whole program. That was an amazing program. And I also, my freshman year, was doing too much, but I was the assistant director for a new RSO at the time called The Big Event. And it was basically this like one big day of service that the UD community would come together with the Newark, Delaware community and do service projects all day. And so that was an incredible experience. And then my sophomore year, I was the executive director because the executive director the first year had graduated. And that was tough because COVID hit. So we did not end up having our big event that year, which really sucked for all the energy that we had put into it, but it's okay. And so I really had a very full experience at UD for sure. Yeah, it just really sucks how my experience ended. And I did have trouble the whole way through. So when I took a gap year at the very beginning, UD was just not set up for gap years. And I ended up hitting roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. Like they didn't really have me in the system. They had me in the system as a first year student, not a gap year student. So when I didn't check my email, which I didn't have access to over my gap year, they basically put my whole account on hold because I hadn't like filled out some things, even though I wasn't really a student there. And so that was like a bear to figure out. So the whole gap year thing was really stressful and difficult. And then when COVID hit, they were mandating vaccines. And so I ended up attempting to get part of the vaccine. I got a quarter dose of the vaccine. My doctor was like, let's just try this. We know your system does not react normally to things, and this might really flare your symptoms. So we're just going to try a quarter dose. That was her idea. And I'm so grateful that we only did a quarter dose because I reacted to that quarter dose. And this was in January 2022. And really my health has been going downhill since then. And at that time, they almost kicked me out. So because I wasn't fully vaccinated, I said, look, my doctor can provide a note saying that like my health is in jeopardy if they try to give me any more vaccine. And that's what she ended up doing. And so finally I had a vaccine exemption to be able to still take classes online. That's the thing. I wasn't even going into campus. Other people were returning to campus at that time. I was like, I'm not even setting foot on campus. Can I please just take online classes? I promise you, I'll sign something, whatever you want, saying I won't come in to campus. I'm taking virtual classes. Can I please just not have to get the full vaccine? And they were, didn't want to do that at that time. So that was a whole mission in and of itself, and kind of a whole fight to stay a student at that time as well. And then most recently, you are only able to take 2 medical leaves of absence before UD kicks you out as a student. And so I did everything I could to try staying a student. Several of my mentors did, classes with me online and made huge accommodations for me. Like the rest of the students were in person and I was the only one online for one of the classes. And they just really tried to help me out to extend my time so that when my health hopefully improves a little bit, I can finish my degree. But UD was like, these are our rules. We cannot make any exceptions. If you take more than 2 consecutive medical leaves of absences, you just have to withdraw. Really, it's them kicking you out, but you have to fill out the form to say that you're withdrawing. And so that was really tough and really frustrating because I had done so much. I had struggled so hard to be a student. I mean, I had put my classes first, even above my health. Like I had truly sometimes made my health a lot worse just to try to take classes because I was so dedicated and I was trying so hard to complete my degree, even when I started having to give up all these extracurriculars that I loved and I was just doing classes. That still, wasn't enough. And so it's really hard because like right now my brain fog is so bad that I'm really unable to read and remember things and do cognitive tasks, which is really what school is all about. And so it was really tough to have them, say, hey, no, we're not going to wait for you anymore. You just have to leave. And so that's been just kind of emotional. A lot of my identity was based on being a 4.0 student and the extracurriculars that I was doing in the communities that I was a part of. And I will say Horn Entrepreneurship is just absolutely incredible. So when I was realizing that UD was going to kick me out, I looked up like a month before I got kicked out what I would lose. And I was always told that once you became a UD student, you would always get to keep your UD email. And I had been using my UD email as my primary email for everything. Even then I realized that this is my fault, but for everything, even my medical stuff, all of my business connections and networking had been through that email. I stored stuff in my Google Drives. I mean, everything, my whole life was in this email. So I looked it up. Nobody told me this, but I was like, that can't be. But let me just look it up to make sure because I was told I was going to keep my email. But no, if you drop out of UD, which is basically what I did, even though I got kicked out, you lose your email. And so I was just absolutely panicking. And I was like, please, can I just keep this email? My intent is to come back. I want to continue classes. My health is what is preventing me from not. I'm doing everything in my power. I'm going to all these doctor's appointments. I'm doing everything in my power to become healthier again, to be able to take classes again. Please, can you just keep this email? All alumni get to keep their email. Everyone who works at UD gets to keep their email. Like, thousands upon thousands of people every year keep their email. And so I was just like really confused why they couldn't make this accommodation for me to keep my email. And I contacted everyone. I was just desperate. I contacted the Dean of Students office, contacted the president's office. I was contacting people in their disability support services office, and everyone was just like, oh, kind of giving me the runaround. Oh, you have to talk to UDIT. When I talked to UDIT, they never actually responded to me when it was just my emails. When other people got involved, then they a couple times responded. And so the saving grace was that kind of a compromise was reached. Horn Entrepreneurship really fought for me, and I'm so grateful to Charlie Horn and to Dan Freeman and everybody there. There were so many people that really fought so hard for me to keep my email. And so what ended up happening is I get a 1-year extension. So I have about 6 months left on that email until it is deleted. And so that has at least given me time. I mean, I was asking, like, can I just have an extension even? Bare minimum, can I have an extension to like transfer my whole life over to other emails? And so that's in essence what I was granted, was a 1-year extension. So it has been a journey. It has felt like, as someone with chronic illness and who is disabled, it's felt like at every turn I've had to fight my way through the system, which has been really stressful because as someone with chronic fatigue, like, I don't have the extra energy to try to be a student and then also fight the system. It's been a frustrating journey for sure, but again, huge shout out to Horn Entrepreneurship for really taking care of their students and really trying to go to bat for them. And I mean, I emailed a bunch of people, pretty much everyone on my contacts list that I could think of, to let them know that I would be losing that email. And I had a lot of people respond and go to bat for me as well, trying to help me keep my email too, and email other people that they had contacts with that I didn't know to try to help me keep my email as well. So it was kind of an incredible community building experience for me, and I am so appreciative of all the people who reached out and who tried to fight so hard for me to keep that email. And that was always my goal, was to try to return to UD when my health improved, and hopefully someday that will still be the case. But you know, when I was in high school, I didn't even think I was going to be able to graduate high school because my health was so bad. So I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to have gone to a bit of college, and I'm really hoping that in the future my health will improve to the point where I can complete my education, since I am really close. But at this point, that's just not the case. And really towards the end, I was really struggling to find online classes because I'm not able to drive right now. It would be really difficult for me to go to in-person classes, especially with nobody else wearing masks and with being immunocompromised. So it was just a very difficult experience all around, and it seems like that chapter has closed, unfortunately, now. And so we'll see what new chapters come in the future. But that was my experience, and I just wanted to kind of talk about my story and share it, and share why I'm no longer a student, a college student. Again, that was a huge part of my identity, and so it does feel like a huge loss, kind of an ego death, because lifelong learning is my passion, and my parents have really instilled that in me, and so it feels like a big blow to that. Maybe in another video I'll talk about ego death, because there has been a lot of ego death over the last few years in my life. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, my friends, and just for being here on this journey with me. And I hope you like my lighting setup. I'm kind of messing with it and playing with it a little bit, and so we'll see what I end up deciding on in the end. So thanks, friends, and I will see you in the next video.